Hey everyone, I'm back again with another video in which I look back at a PS2 game which left a mark on me when I was young. And the reason I want to look back at this game specifically is because I hold a certain game called Outlast in the highest regard. I feel like this was the game that kicked off the trend of using a camcorder as a narrative tool to drive the story forward. To my surprise, a certain not so well known game on the PS2 got there first, which put the player in the shoes of a cameraman as he records strange phenomena taking place around him. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sunil Angel and I would like to ask you to grab your cameras or boom mics, whichever you prefer, and join me in discovering the truth in Michigan Report from Hell.
Okay, wake up. Time for a scoop. Get up! Are you ready? Got your tapes? Battery okay?
Michigan Report from Hell is a first-person adventure/survival horror game where you play the role of a cameraman working for a news organization. Developed by Grasshopper Manufacture, the studio behind such classics like Killer 7 and No More Hero series, the game was released on PlayStation 2 in 2004 in Japan by Spike and in 2005 by 505 Gamestreet in European regions. During the early 2000s, Grasshopper took on contract work to stay afloat, and this game is one of those projects. When Suda was creating the concept of the game, he was inspired by Stephen King's The Mist. No, not the movie with the most gut-wrenching end I've ever seen. That came out in 2007. It was the book that inspired him. Speaking of which, time to talk about the game's story. I must add here that the game's narrative relies on how you play it, so if you decide to pick this game, your experience may be different from mine. Although the game is called Michigan, it's actually set in Chicago, where people are fearing for their lives because danger lurks around every corner. Whoops, wrong footage, let's try that again. The game is set in Chicago, where people are fearing for their lives because danger lurks around every corner. A mysterious fog has covered Chicago and monsters now roam the streets. You're playing the role of a rookie cameraman working for a news channel called Zaka TV as you try to uncover the truth. The first character you meet is called John Philip Briscoe, whose personality can only be described as a Tier 3 simp.
That's Pamela. You've seen her before, haven't you? She's Zaka TV's star reporter after all. Hey, you're pretty lucky to be teamed up with Pamela right off the bat. But don't go getting any funny ideas about her, you hear me? Of course, Pamela probably wouldn't give you the time of day anyway.
Stop it. Get some help.
Seriously, I always wondered what Tier 3 Sims looked like and how they operated. Looking at Briscoe finally answered that question. The guy can't shut up talking about Pamela, and looking at her, I can see the appeal. I mean, she's focused, she's confident, she's determined, she's good with the crew. I just hope nothing bad happens to her. Oh, never mind. After escaping that near-death experience, Briscoe and the cameraman hook up with another Zaka TV reporter, Ann Anderson, in a hotel where they get a tip that there may be a survivor at Center Building.
The observation deck of the center building? Is there anybody else there with you?
Unfortunately, our sound engineer is still sad over the loss of his queen and decided to resort to alcohol to drown his sorrow. I mean, dude, I would be crying too if I give someone thousands of dollars only for them to die on me or friend zone me, or in Twitch's case, lie about being single. Anyways, we get some water for Briscoe, which works really fast in sobering him up.
I'm a new man. Okay, back to covering the news.
And we're good to go. This is where we are attacked by a tentacle monster that unleashes ginormous spiders on us. Now I know Australians would look at this and think that's just another Tuesday for them, but Chicago has got no big ass spiders, so the reporter takes out her handgun and starts blasting.
I started blasting. Bang! Wow.
Damn, Ann, you're good.
Before the crew reaches the building, they bump into an old familiar face that is not too familiar anymore.
What's the matter? Are you alright? Oh my god! Are you alright? What the?
And looks like she has grown teeth at a place that should have been warm and delicious. It kind of reminded me of a film called Teeth. Oh, I regretted watching that film. Anyways, the crew crushed Pamela under a shutter, and I guess that's the end of her. Rest in peace, Queen of the Sims. You shall not be missed. After reaching the center building, which is abandoned, we find the survivor who is trapped on the other side of this cave-in. And to reach her, we need to walk on these beams. I think before working for Zaka TV, the cameraman may have worked in a circus or something, because not only can he walk on these beams with a heavy-ass camera on his shoulders, but also rescue the reporter who would have otherwise fallen to her doom.
Whew! That was close.
Thank you.
We finally managed to reach the survivor and find out she has turned into a human Happy Meal because the monsters are McLovin' it. I grew conscious and stopped filming, which annoyed Anne.
What did you stop shooting for?
Anne! I can't believe you.
Anyways, we are attacked, and instead of leaving Anne for monsters to munch on, I decided to save her and bolt the heck out of there.
You two call yourselves Zaka TV crew? I would hardly even call you men.
Or maybe I should have just left her behind. The crew make their way to Zaka TV office. Anne goes away to change her clothes. Don't know why, but okay. Meanwhile, Briscoe and the cameraman take a trip down memory lane.
Hey, there's Pamela's picture. She's so beautiful. Pamela. Look, she's smiling.
Oh, shut up. She didn't even like you anyway. Anne comes back and she takes a phone call of some elderly gentleman. It sounds like he is stuck at a nursing home and can't get out of bed. Anne recommends that they should go and help the poor man out. And you know it's a terrible plan when even the Tier 3 simp is disagreeing with it.
No way! I've had enough danger for one day. Thank you very much.
So they end up going to Brody nursing home. But they don't find no old man trapped there. Instead, they find another reporter named Justine in a very, compromising position. I can crack about 100 jokes here concerning Justine's, open legs, snooker table, balls in holes and stuff, but I'll let our Tier 3 simp handle the situation.
I don't know, but I think I could get into this kind of stuff.
You pervert!
Damn, Briscoe, that's nasty. You're coming with me. I'm not leaving you alone with her. Anyways, now it's up to the crew to find the missing balls and put them in... Oh my God. Okay, I gotta do this. Anyways, now it's up to the crew to find the missing balls and put them in the right place before the chandelier drops on Justine. After Justine is rescued, for which the cameraman receives a peck on the cheek for, the crew decides that they should probably leave. But instead of going out the same way they came in, because why would they do that, they decide to enter a new room which is completely safe.
Ah! A monster!
Just kidding, there's a monster in there. The monster is immune to bullets, so the reporter shoots a gas canister next to it, wrenching it with gas and lights it up like bonfire.
I did it! Justine, in here! Okay, I'm coming!
That's what she said.
Justine decides to bail on the team to check up on her family, but Anne over here, Miss Smarty Pants, says that they should go to the Miller mansion to check up on Christian and his team. Hold up, Christian made his choice by going to a place where there were reports of a monster. Why am I risking my neck to save his ass?
Son of fuck! Are you serious?
That's right, Briscoe, you give her a piece of your mind. At the Miller mansion, the team comes across the monster Christian came to report on.
There's a monster right in front of us!
Really? I didn't notice. So instead of saying this shit and running in the opposite direction that leads out of Chicago, the team hides in the mansion. They come across a cabinet of shotguns and need to find a key to unlock it. They do end up finding the key along with the body of a co-worker.
I don't even know who you are.
They take out the creature and manage to find Christian, who looks like he needs a vacation. After he flatlines, the crew heads over to St. Matthew's Church to look for Jeff. No idea who this Jeff guy is, but he must be important. Otherwise, why would the crew not get the hell out of the city already? At the church, everyone's dead. Jeff's turned into a monster, and the crew must defeat him by dropping an angel statue on his head.
I killed Jeff! He's dead!
Yeah, but we didn't have any other choice.
You did. You could have left the same way you came in. You could have left Chicago. What is wrong with you? Anne decides to stay behind. Briscoe and the cameraman decide to go to Zaka TV HQ to confront the chief. Unfortunately, they are involved in an accident, so they end up seeking refuge at a lodge. At the lodge, we find another reporter passed out. Probably had too much to drink. She wakes up and invites us in. Her name is Nina, and apparently she is Dwight's girlfriend.
And what about you? You never put down that camera, do you?
No, lady, I don't. The camera is love. The camera is life. Nina was supposed to meet Dwight at the lodge. Briscoe comes up with a plan that actually makes sense.
We'll wait for Dwight until it stops raining. If he doesn't show up by then, we'll take off in your car.
So yeah, the crew decides to have a shower and freshen up, but our cameraman is all about that scoop, and he's not going to give up, even if it means getting a restraining order from Nina.
You disgust me.
I disgust me. Shut up, Nina. You don't know how hard dating is these days. We also find a dead body of our colleague, who we will call Simon because his name is never mentioned. Rest in peace, Simon. You will not be missed. Briscoe wasn't feeling up to it, so Nina leaves with the cameraman to get her car.
The bigger things are, the less real they actually seem.
The bigger things are, the less real they seem. I'm gonna use that line next time any girl sees me with my pants down. Oh, it's so small. The bigger things are, the less real they seem. Now let's get down and dirty.
You disgust me.
When they arrive at the lodge to pick Briscoe, the crew is attacked by a monster. Nina manages to make a short work of it with a shotgun.
That thing wasn't so tough.
Don't let your guard down just yet. In the movie...
Nope, she didn't, because she's attacked by the monster again, who tries to swallow her whole. And looks like Nina has seen the movie Men in Black, because she says this.
I can take this thing. Just get out of here. I'm all right. I've still got some bullets left. I'll make this thing blow up from inside.
Nina! Look out!
Well, I hope her plan worked, because she... Oh, well, moving on. Wait, hold up. Why is Briscoe and the cameraman going to Zaka TV HQ? They have a car. Why can't they just drive out of the city? What's stopping them? Anyways, they reach the HQ and are reunited with Anne. Briscoe is all fired up, as you can see. He and Anne are about to give the chief of Zaka TV a piece of their mind, but it turns out the chief has something in common with my ex and knows a thing or two about manipulating people. Next thing they knew, they were on a rescue mission to Von Erich Library to rescue a colleague. Just like the rest of the city, the library is empty too. If only these idiots would have taken the hint. But no, we're gonna put our lives on the line and solve tedious puzzles to save a colleague whose name we don't even know.
Oh, a stepladder.
What are you doing, stepladder? Unfortunately, the dramatic rescue mission goes exactly as everything has been going on in the game, with the colleague dying. Wait a minute, he was fine a couple of minutes ago when I saw him on the camera feed. What the heck happened here?
The monster probably came in through that air vent, killed the man, and then vanished.
Really? What gave it away?
Our news team is now in danger too.
The news team has always been in danger from the start. What the heck is wrong with you? Well, it looks like the news team found a new lead. Apparently, the colleague was supposed to meet a Dr. O'Connor at Club Gotti? Whatever. But it doesn't matter because the news team is in danger, so they're gonna ignore that and leave the city ASAP.
So you want to go there?
Of course. Let's go. It's a huge scoop.
Ah, son of a... The news team arrive at the club, but it's too dark to record any scoop, so Briscoe recommends going to a junk shop named Shakedown, I kid you not, and look for an infrared unit for the camera. So the crew ends up at the shop that also stocks some powerful weapons, but they're going to ignore the all-powerful shotgun that has proven useful before and will continue to look for the infrared unit. They find it after a brief period and go back to Club Gotchi. And even though it is pitch black, it doesn't stop Anne from making a report.
We will now use this infrared camera to locate and restore power to the building.
Well, looks like it's up to the cameraman to get the lights back on. Once that's done, it's back to business. After looking around for a bit, the crew finally manages to find Dr. O'Connor, who was having the time of his life, locked up in a dark nightclub all by himself, and Miss News Reporter of the Year here ruined it for him.
You're Dr. O'Connor, aren't you? Would you please allow us to interview you?
Imagine if he had said no. Then that's it. No consent given. Game over. But Anne Anderson channels her inner Don Lemon, who surprisingly was also given the award for the Best Journalist of the Year in 2014, and just straight up accuses the guy of possessing information that could explain the fog and the creatures roaming around in Chicago based on a note from a dead guy.
You were supposed to meet a man named Glenn Buckland here, weren't you?
Wait, who the hell is Glenn Buckland?
He was killed by a monster. He was attacked in the basement of the library.
Oh, so that guy was Glenn. Damn. Rest in peace, Glenn. You will not be missed. Anyway, Dr. O'Connor starts spilling the beans.
The monster that killed him is the military, the government, and Zaka Group.
I am shocked! Shocked! Well, not that shocked.
So apparently Zaka Group, that also owns Zaka TV, is something like Umbrella Corporation. I can already see the memes in my head, okay? When you order Umbrella Corporation from Wish.com. Mom, I want Umbrella Corporation. But sweetie, we have Umbrella Corp at home. The Umbrella Corp at home. Anyways, Dr. O'Connor then proceeds to roast everyone in the room like he was Matt Rife.
The military, the government, and Zaka Group.
Trying to use that brain of yours, are you?
Boom. Roasted.
Just what are you insinuating?
DNA, that's how.
DNA?
I see TV turns even the brains of those who appear on it to mush.
Boom. Roasted.
You must at least know that Zaka Group has a patent on its DNA manipulation technology.
I'm not stupid. Of course I know that much.
But I'm sure your tiny brain has never imagined what Zaka could do with that technology.
Boom. Roasted.
Virus? What virus?
Is your head an empty shell as well?
Boom. Roasted.
You sure know how to make people angry, don't you?
Turns out the doctor is infected. There is a cure, but the military has taken it. They are transporting it via train. Why? Who cares? As the doctor starts tweaking, he mentions that those creatures are sensitive to alcohol and their bodies can't process alcohol anymore. I don't know, maybe they don't want to have a good time and they're attracted to loud music because, well, that actually makes sense. Well, the doctor finally starts turning into a monster and we can finally get back at him for roasting us earlier. Your daddy's so ugly he appeared on a news segment on Zaka TV.
Boom. Roasted.
Now that the doctor has given the crew every info they needed, they decide the best course of action would be to take out the doctor by throwing alcohol bottles at him. After getting Creature O'Connor drunk and electrocuted, the crew move on to Grant Forest Building and look for another one of our colleagues, Adonis, who was very close to uncovering the truth. Anybody want to bet that this rescue mission is going to go the same as the last one? Well, good thing you didn't, because the crew manages to find Adonis, who is safe and healthy.
It's Adonis! What are you doing hiding in there?
Man, don't come near me!
What are you talking about? We came looking for you, man!
Idiots! I told you to stay away!
Huh? Brother,
Oh, never mind. On the way to the station, the crew come across a crashed Zaka TV crew van. After investigating a bit and realizing that they might not be alone, they decide to leg it. At the station, the crew realize that the vaccine is gone, but there is a way to cultivate it yourself. Granted, you have the right ingredients: sodium chloride, potassium chloride, and magnesium chloride. How much do they need of each of those ingredients? How will they mix them? How will they administer them? Who cares? Let's move on. But before they could leave, there's a monster blocking their path, if you can call that blocking. So the cameraman redirects the train on track where the monster is, and that's it. Well, good to know that at least the trains are running in Chicago amidst the monster outbreak. It is then the cameraman is presented with the choice of helping a man who is hurt or let him get run over by a train. Naturally, the cameraman, being a good guy that he is, decides to help him out, and also find special kind of bullets that can help the crew stand a chance against the monsters.
it's a special type of ammo that can be packed with the vaccine.
Obviously, the developers don't know how bullets, real-life bullets, actually work. The crew begins to make its way to a convenience store nearby, but all of this is starting to take its toll on their psyche. I know it's starting to take a toll on mine because I really can't take this anymore. I just want this game to be over and done with. See the pain I'm going through for you guys? Please like and subscribe. Thank you. While looking around in the convenience store, Anne decides to change her clothes for some reason, but is startled by the sight of a dead body.
A dead body!
At this point, she should be getting used to it by now. Just saying. They finally manage to find a sports drink that has all the ingredients they need to make a vaccine with. I don't know if that's a good idea though.
At this point, who cares?
In other words, if you're Kyle with enough monster energy in your system, you're immune to this virus, Kyle. You're good. It is then decided that the crew would go to the airport to meet up with the evacuation team and leave the city. About time, if you ask me. But the team is exhausted and decide to take a break at a hotel, which looks abandoned. The three take individual rooms to sleep it off. Now, I don't know what's going on here exactly, okay? I took this room here, which was closest to the lobby. The cameraman settles down, only to be woken up by a strange noise in the middle of the night. Upon investigating, he is attacked by a creature that began to chase him around. Where is it? Oh yeah, here it is. I tried every door in the hallway and tried interacting with any and everything that would seem a bit obvious, but for some reason I couldn't figure it out. I thought I would try dashing it with my camera, but I died instantly, which I didn't even know was possible in the game. So upon reloading my last save, I chose a different room, and this time the cameraman was woken up by Anne and Briscoe. They heard some strange noise coming from a room in the hallway, and Anne decides the best thing to do would be to see what it is. I mean, it's not like the city is crawling with monsters, is it? After looking around for a bit, the crew finds a man who's ready to, paint the ceiling red, if you know what I mean. Of course, the cameraman stopped him because it is haram, brother.
It's haram, bro! Haram!
The crew saves the man and decide to head over to the airport, hoping that the military transport would pick them up. But of course, things don't go as planned because the lights are out on the runway, and no one in the crew knows how to turn them on. Yeah, go ahead, idiot, just randomly press buttons to see which works. On top of that, the transport seems to be running out of fuel, so they have a limited time frame. Anyways, the crew decide to turn the lights on a nearby lighthouse to give a reference point for the rescue transport to land. The crew bumps into the chief of Zaka TV, who is about to be attacked by Pamela. Yes, that Pamela. But the cameraman manages to save her.
It was Pamela.
How did Pamela get there? How is she still alive? Who cares? Let's move on. The crew then bumps into a man who seems to be off his rockers. He's just lonely and looking for people. And Briscoe's first assessment of that man is,
This guy is looking really sick. I bet he's infected with that virus.
Turns out Briscoe could be correct because the shady looking guy seems to be looking for Dr. O'Connor. The guy seems like he's one of Dr. O'Connor's test subjects.
That Dr. O'Connor is so mean. Poking and prodding a guy's body like he was nothing.
Oh my.
And then he starts acting like this. I don't even know what's going on here.
This guy is nuts!
Really, Briscoe? I didn't notice. So they decide to cure his insanity by mag dumping into him. I mean, if anyone acts like this in a city that is crawling with monsters, I would mag dump on him too. Well, the man begins to mutate and explodes, throwing little worms-like creatures everywhere. Good thing we, murked the guy in cold blood, I guess. At the lighthouse, the crew is now exhausted and can barely go on, so the cameraman and Briscoe go ahead to turn the beacon on for the lighthouse. And in a shocking twist that no one saw coming, Briscoe starts to turn into a monster. When did he get infected? Was he infected the whole time? Who cares? At least the game is over. After the credits had rolled, we see the cameraman recording himself, perving over Nina. No, seriously, I kid you not.
I'll never forget you, Nina. Your beautiful eyes, your lovely black hair, that soft, translucent skin of yours.
Daddy, chill.
Well, looks like the cameraman is about to blow the lid off the entire thing. I just hope nothing bad happens to him.
It's...
Ah, son of a... Michigan Report from Hell has minimal gameplay. Yes, as a cameraman you can walk around, zoom in and out, but I noticed that there was nothing else to do. The game feels like a walking simulator. Can you believe it? Grasshopper made a walking simulator before walking simulators were even a thing. As a cameraman, you can interact with what's called focus points in levels that give you points. You can get points for covering suspenseful, erotic, or immoral categories. The ending of the game will change depending on which category has the most points. So for example, getting upskirt shots of your reporter will net you points in erotic category. Recording brutal or questionable material will net you points in immoral category, and recording evidence of reporters when they're talking will net you points in suspense category. And that's it. That's literally is the gameplay of Michigan Report from Hell. You interact with focus points or don't, depending on which ending you're going for, and that's it. You can push NPCs out of the way, but I rarely found myself using that feature. Plus it gives you points in immoral category, so that was a bummer. The action sequences are handled by news reporters. All of them carry a gun, a joke in 2005, a necessity in 2024. So if there's a threat that needs taking care of, you simply interact with the focus point of that enemy and the reporter will fire at it. A lot of times these enemies don't even attack the cameraman or the sound guy. They will only attack the reporter, and if the reporter dies, the level ends. Speaking of which, Michigan handles game over sections pretty cleverly. Throughout the game, you have to prevent the news reporter from dying, and if you fail to do so, the level will end, and the story will jump to the next level, where you are introduced to a new reporter. I think I speak for everyone when I say that we all hate those games where we had to escort an NPC around and make sure that they are not hurt. And if they are, it's game over. So Michigan actually handled that quite well. But unfortunately, that's also one of the game's biggest downfall. The majority of the game, I didn't feel like I was in control. As a cameraman, you cannot even open doors to progress to the next part of the level. You have to wait for the reporter to be close to a door or an item to inspect. When the reporter is close enough, only then you can progress. And what happens if the reporter moves on to the next point of interest before you interact? Well, sucks to suck because you might lose out on some important story exposition. Obviously, that does not apply to key items. Because for secondary exposition that was crucial to world building, I had to make sure that I stick close to the reporter instead of exploring the map. It's not an issue if you're playing the game for the first time, but if you're someone like me who messed up on capturing gameplay 2 times and had to start the game again halfway through the experience, it became a chore. The only time I felt like the game had some potential was during the Club Gotchi level. When it was pitch black, I was all by myself and I had to find my way around. If the majority of the game was like that, then yeah, it would have been amazing, but unfortunately it wasn't. The game jumps from level to level with some jump scares sprinkled around to make you pay attention as you try to interact with items in the game. There are some puzzles to solve, but they were very basic. Another issue is that the game overwrites your save files, which means that if you want to see all 4 endings, yes, there are 4 of them, and unlock all the outfits in the game for all the journalists, you have to play the game almost 9 times. Yeah, miss me with that. If you couldn't already tell, the voice acting is really bad in the game, but in a so bad that it's actually good way. The dialogues themselves don't do it any favor either, which can range from cheesy to just outright weird. But I guess it adds a certain charm to the game.
No, I'm not your mother.
I couldn't help but to have this grin on my face every time Briscoe or any other news reporter said anything on the screen. The background music was pretty much non-existent, which was a good and a bad thing. Graphically, the game is not that much of a looker. The levels look sparse in detail and just look dark. And I don't mean tone-wise, I mean just dark in general. The monsters look unimaginative and the reporters themselves look, well, a bit generic. But at least they got the jiggle physics for the ladies. A necessity in 2005, a point of contention in 2024. After you have beaten the game, you will unlock additional outfits for Briscoe and the reporter that you finished the game with. You can also unlock something called Movie Theater Mode, which at first I thought would allow playback of the cutscenes that were a big deal back in the day, but instead we got this.
Alright, man! This is great! I want my life back! My youth! The photo shoot is just about to begin! The main thing I want to know is who is the mug?
Hi, it's me.
Yeah, it's a mode where a reporter is dressed in her skimpies and just flaunts her polygons around. I mean, look at this. Stellar Blade got nothing on this. While I was making this video, I looked around and came across some bits and pieces of information that really shocked me. Shout out to Hardcore Gaming 101 for the article. Turned out the game featured a Taiwanese model in the Japanese version. Her name is Yingling, that you could have as a second reporter when starting a new campaign after finishing the game, but she was removed from the European versions. Speaking of which, it turns out that Suda51, who had worked on games like No More Heroes and Killer 7, also worked on the game but was uncredited, and he had no idea the game had been released in Europe. The article also states that there is a bug in the European version of the game which prevents gamers from viewing unlocked cutscenes. Plus, there are some bonus cutscenes that you could unlock for collecting video cassettes in levels. Honestly, I do recall collecting one and I was looking for a TV or something to play the cassette, but it turns out 505 Games, the studio behind publishing the game in European region, messed up the port. But what about North America? In an interview with Gamasutra, yeah, remember Gamasutra? Suda revealed that the game was not released in North America because of its, and I quote, minimal gameplay. Oh, Sony, if only you knew. When the game came out, game journalists were sent photos of all the reporters in the game in interesting poses and outfits. And I did find an old trailer on YouTube, courtesy of Grasshopper Division, that shows the trailer for the game. I'll leave a link to it in the description box below. If you look at the trailer, it is actually live action, and I think it's the Taiwanese model, Yingling. She's in the trailer as well. But unfortunately, none of that helped the game in the end because it only managed to ship around 31,000 copies in Japan. I'm sorry I couldn't find how many it sold in Europe. The game didn't even score that well with reviewers, and I share the same opinion as them. The game is unique and it is fun to play because of its laughably bad voiceover acting, but the fact that I had to play the game 9 times to unlock all bonuses, I'm sorry, but that killed the entire experience for me. That and the fact that the European version was not handled well by 505 Games. If you still have a PS2 handy and manage to get your hands on it at a reasonable price, then yeah, go for it. But for the love of God, please don't pay £300 for it. That's around $378 for my American viewers. Anyways, that's enough from me. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, and if you want to support my channel, hit the subscribe button. I'm a part-time YouTuber, so your engagement with the channel will help me a lot in the long run. Peace out, angels, and stay awesome.